What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers got an absolute thrashing once again by the Denver Nuggets. And look, just not good enough. I mean, that's the reality. Look, I think the Lakers are a good team. I've talked about it going into the season that I thought that they are a playoff team. I still believe that they are a playoff team. Still believe that they have a puncher's chance against anybody. To me, nothing's really changed, but I just think we've gotten further confirmation that no, they're not a real contender. That there's levels to this. That I think that they are better than most teams, but it's like I've talked about. I think that they are, seventh, eighth best team in the NBA. I think, if you wanted to argue, maybe they're sixth, sure, but there's at least bare minimum a handful of teams that are clearly they're just better than the Lakers. And again, you get the right matchups, right? You still got LeBron James and Anthony Davis. A couple guys go on hot streaks. Dalton Connect has a stint like we just saw him have, in a playoff run or something, right? Like, could you get to the conference finals? Sure. Could you get to the NBA finals? Sure, right? We saw Denver do it last year, or not Denver, Dallas do it last year, and they were a team that, for a good majority of the season, it was kind of like, are they even going to be a play-in team? And then, they got a couple key trades. Guys like Derrick Jones Jr. really kind of stepped up and emerged a little bit for them, and things just started clicking, and they got the right matchups, and then their defense kind of picked it up, and the next thing you know, you look up and they're in the NBA Finals. Right? So I don't think it's impossible for the Lakers to get there. It's not something that I trust. It's not something that I would bet on or count on or anything like that. All right. Lakers right now are sitting at the 4 seed at 10-6, so they have a winning record. But they're 2 games back of the 1 seed, which isn't that many games. Like, you could easily be back into the 1 seed, but they're also game and a half, 2 games from being the 12th seed. Right? Like, that's how tight the Western Conference is. And I talked about the Orlando game, how Lakers blew the Orlando game, and people were like, oh, it's just 1 game. It's just 1 game. Again, this is the Western Conference. Well, now it's 2 games, right? You win the Orlando game like you were supposed to, and now you've won 7 out of your last 8 rather than 6 out of your last 8, and you're not on a 2-game losing streak, and you have a tough matchup coming up. Again, the Lakers they don't have the overall talent. They have way too many holes, and we don't have the perimeter defense. Every time we play Denver, they just have our number. Michael Porter Jr. turns into the second coming of, Steph Curry. Jamal Murray turns into Michael Jordan. It's ridiculous at this point. The Lakers need a trade. They need several trades. That's why I'm so big on, trades. People talk about, Tyler, why do you keep talking about trades? Why do you keep going over trades? Why fix what ain't broke? Well, it is broke. Like, the Lakers are not a real contending team. They're a very good team, right? But they're not a real contending team. And until they're able to pull off some trades, which, look, I still want Rob Pelinka to be patient, right? I don't want to see a Laker trade just for a Laker trade. You could always get worse, right? We saw that with the Russell Westbrook trade, right? Like, I want to see the Lakers make some moves, but I also want them to be patient and find the right trades, find the right moves. But the way you're able to do that is by winning and staying ahead, right? Like, we got to right the ship. You got to keep winning. But until they actually are able to pull off, in my opinion, you need at least 2, likely 3 guys. Don't underestimate the value of 2 quality caliber players, right? Like, you get a Zach LaVine and a Walker Kessler, right? I think that could be potentially enough to win you an NBA championship. Again, using Dallas as an example, they go get Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, and all of a sudden they're in the NBA Finals, right? Because those were guys that fit needs and were good enough to have a real impact. This is basketball, right? Like, one guy can really be the difference. One guy can make some huge strides. But Lakers have to find those right pieces, and you have to be patient. Obviously, Lakers need a backup center. They need a legit backup center. But you need some help out on the perimeter too. And it's beyond just Jared Vanderbilt and Christian Wood. Right? Like Jared Vanderbilt and Christian Wood, would they help? Yeah. Would they make it slightly better? Yeah. But they're not changing the outcome of that Denver game. Right? Like, we're not there compared to the top upper echelon type teams. We still have a long way to go. And until we can kind of fill some of those holes, fill some of those needs, this is what the result's going to be against some of these teams. Against some of these top teams. Now, again, I think Lakers have a chance. There's no team I look at maybe outside of Denver, right? Because they've just dominated us for years now. But outside of Denver, there's no team that I look at and just go like, Lakers have zero shot. But again, there's no team I would be comfortable in the playoffs of taking the Lakers over, right? There's absolutely teams that I like the matchups, and I do think that the Lakers can beat. But would I be comfortable being like, oh, Lakers are locked, they're winning this series, and no, and the only guys that I believe personally are, untouchable for the Lakers. There's really only 3 guys in the entire NBA that are untouchable. I mean, you can make an argument. The only one that's truly untouchable is Wemby, right? Because it's just who are you trading for Wemby? But, you have circumstances like Steph is probably untouchable to the Warriors. Jokic is probably untouchable to Denver. Luka's probably, there's guys that, a handful of guys at least that are truly untouchable. But from the Lakers side of things, the only guys that I think are truly you don't trade them unless it's something crazy is LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Dalton Connect. The only 3 guys, right? Lakers view Austin Reeves as an untradeable. I don't really think so. I think, I don't think Reeves should be one of the last guys you trade. I don't think you just trade Reeves just to trade Reeves. Right, I've been very critical of Austin Reeves, but look, he's a role player. He's a good player. He's not your third option on a real contending team. And I've even talked about, what championship caliber team is he even starting on, let alone being the third guy, right? You look at these top teams, he's not starting on any of those teams, right? Reeves is a very good role player, but he's too inconsistent to be your third guy. Excellent game against, more so the first half, right? He kind of cooled off in the second half, but still, he had a good game, right? In that Denver game, he was one of the few guys that showed up, but I don't think he's untouchable. If you find the right trade, the right move, I mean, even Dalton Connect, I don't think is truly, truly untouchable, but he's just such a big need, and he's the only guy on the Lakers that does what we need in the regards of just being a volume 3-point shooter that can knock it down with consistency. Plus, he's still very young, and top of that, he's the rookie, so, he's a guy that, in my opinion, it would take quite a bit to get off of, right? Unless you're getting a Giannis or something crazy like that, you're not giving up, Connect, right? But everyone else, in my opinion, should be on the table. Outside of these 3, Austin Reeves, again, you don't just trade him just to trade him. But if you can get the right pieces, if you can turn him into a significant need, right, then I think you do it. Right? D'Angelo Russell, I would be shocked if he's on this roster beyond the trade deadline. Rui Hachimura, I like Rui, but his $17 million you could use to go get and fill kind of bigger needs. He's a 4, he's not a 3. You get a center, you get a Cam Johnson or something like that, and if you could get a Dennis Schroeder too in the deal, I think now you're kind of talking, right? If you can get even something like the Nets trade where you could do a Dennis Schroeder, Cam Johnson, and Day'Ron Sharpe. Boom. Now I think the Lakers could potentially, obviously you got to see how things play out. You got to see, how does they all look playing together. But if they look well and it works out, well then, yeah, now I think you could be and move into that contention status. I like the idea of like a Schroeder, Reeves, Johnson, LeBron, and AD, and then you have a Sharp and all that, right? Like that to me is just a much better situation if you're the Lakers than the situation you're currently in. But again, Lakers just they're not there. They're not a real contending team. Rob Pelinka does need to continue to remain patient, as frustrating as it is. The fan in me is like, get a deal done tomorrow, right? But you could go get a Walker Kessler right now. Give up both first, Jalen or Jafino, Utah would give you Walker Kessler. But Walker Kessler by himself isn't making the Lakers a contender. You need Walker Kessler and like if you get like a Zach LaVine and a Walker Kessler, okay, now you're talking. But Rob's got to continue to be patient, finding the right deals. Right? Lakers have to do their end though too. They have to hold up their part too. And how do they hold up their part? They have to win. If you're not winning, then that just puts more pressure on Rob Pelinka, and it puts more pressure on these type of deals, and you lose more and more leverage. You're through 30 games or 32 games, let's say, if you're 20-12, right? Like now you're in a position to where it's like, okay, like we would like this guy rather than we need this guy, right? Like obviously you need him, but there's the desperation where if you're 12-20, it's like, hey, we really, really need this guy. And teams are looking at it as like, well, we want both first. But when you get to the point where it's like, okay, we would like to have this guy. This guy is somebody that we think would make this team better. But we're not in a desperate state. You can have better negotiations and put yourself in a better position. But Lakers, again, they're not there. They're not. This was the test, in my opinion. And look, like I said, I don't think that this is the be-all, end-all either way. I even made a video talking about it, and going into the game. But I think this game was very telling in a lot of ways. Just the way we got dominated. This wasn't like a hard-fought game where, we just lost a game, but we were right there. No, this was a game where Denver decided, okay, hey, we should start playing now, and just blew us out. Absolutely just dominated us. It's embarrassing. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.